Okay, good afternoon. So the first few criteria are related to top management commitment, as we discussed, with a responsible person again, but this is specific for energy conservation, energy management. I'll go quickly over these are very similar to what we saw in the water and site modules. And after this commitment, we look at awareness. So here we target awareness campaign, incentives. Changing behavior requires some incentives, and soliciting occupant feedback. Very similar to what we saw also in the other modules. I'll skip quickly to 8.3, the energy consumption tracking. Spend some time on this. So here is another commitment that we want from the applicant, is to submit to LGBC the monthly consumption of the energy and the meter readings of main meters and sub-meters. And this is a prerequisite. This commitment is a prerequisite. We ask if the facility has conducted an energy audit that leads into an energy consumption target. If not, was an energy model conducted that will lead to an energy consumption target, or not, then maybe a benchmark was derived from references to be based as a target. The occupant will have to identify these targets based on the studies that he will submit. And there's a target for power consumption, target for fuel consumption, and a target for gas consumption, if gas consumption is applicable. So this is only inputting of data. Then we go to energy consumption. Does the facility have a monthly grid electricity consumption records? And if yes, the facility should not submit the past 3 years of consumption records, and this evaluation will be based on the latest year, of course, which is year 3 for us here. Next, if the facility has an energy emergency electrical source, and if this source is metered separately, we will ask to submit the records also for the past 3 years, with the year 3 as the relevant year that will be used in the comparisons below. Or the facility may have an on-site diesel emergency generators. Again, these will have to be monitored separately for power consumption and for diesel consumption. So, boilers, if the facility has on-site boilers, then are we tracking diesel, if these are diesel boilers, and the submission of the records for diesel consumption. Similarly, gas boilers, if installed, we would need the records for this consumption, past 3 years for gas consumption. And the last bit here is the evaluation of this consumption review. So, electric energy consumption, this value will be the summation of the grid, emergency sources, and on-site emergency sources. There is a target that was indicated by an energy audit or a simulation or a benchmark, and we compare this consumption to the target, and the score is calculated accordingly. The weight is a weighted average of the 3 sources, so we put a higher weight on the high consuming source. So this will not be seen by the user, but this is the diesel converted to energy gas converted to energy, and we use it as the weighted average for the three sources. And this is how the total score for this tracking criteria is calculated. That was quick. Questions? 8.4 is maintenance. We discussed yesterday that the systems, the maintenance of the systems will be under the management and operation of the energy module. So we list the systems that are possibly installed in the facility. It's very small. So the first question is whether these systems are installed or not. If these are not installed, then the following will not apply to this system. It will not appear. And for maintenance, similar to what we've seen before, we target 4 items. Anyone would like to share what are these items? Quiz. Inspection, cleaning, greasing, tightening, functional testing, and the system has an operation and maintenance manual. 4 have to be satisfied to get the score for that system. The weight is doubled if the system is managed by a computer maintenance system or a computer-aided facility management system. So this is, again, we go through the different systems, cooling towers, fresh air fans, exhaust fans, pumps, humidifiers, renewable systems, what have you in the facility. And there is a target frequency, also as discussed before, and the frequency has to be met, or the maintenance regime has a lower frequency. How are we doing on time?
So what do you mean by computer-aided facility?
It's a management software that will track the maintenance regime, will automatically pop up work orders when the time is required from the last completed work order. You will log all the work. You will have your safety requirements there. You will log your manpower there. You will log your parts and consumables that were used on that work order on that system. And it will become your database and management system for continual improvement and doing some studies on repetitive failures, mean time between failures, mean time to repair, all of these KPIs.
Who usually do this? Facility company, maintenance company?
Who usually?
بيعمل هذا الريسبونس سوفتوير
FM companies, facility management providers, or an in-house facility management department.
Some companies are بيحطوا باركود على each item.
For asset register as well.
يتأكدوا إنه عن جد بيعمل inspection لهذا equipment والموتور والكمبرسور
بالتور. صح. So he has to scan the barcode and go sleep sometimes, but he scanned the barcode. أول خبرية. Questions? في جارد تور كمان بيستعمل نفس الطريقة.
هلا we are using AI systems to predict all these.
To predict
All
failures,
these.
but you need a database.
Yes.
You feed in this data, and then they will anticipate or forecast the future failures.
Machine learning.
We do.
Yes.
اصلا بنحط له كاميرا على الهلمت تبعيته للانسبكتور، بس بدنا بنفوت بنشوف وين عم بتطلع. Commissioning. The same systems that we saw. خليني أكبر شوي. This is the criteria for commissioning of new buildings. We've selected few items to be prerequisites. The chilled water distribution network, of course, it's existing because he has to select existing or not. The duct distribution system, chilled water plant sequencing and operation, energy emergency generators, load management, and BMS. So these have to be commissioned. The others we selected to give him points, and then he has some choices. But of course, systems will have different weights based on what are the systems. And we list the remaining systems under electrical and mechanical and renewable. So again, if the system is installed at the facility, then the system has to be commissioned. If not, then it will not show under commission. And the commissioning will have to go through the commissioning management process that we discussed under site, and will have its own deliverables under each system, specific deliverables. For existing buildings, it's a bit trickier. We go into multiple phases. Again, we will first select what are the systems that are installed in the facility. The prerequisites remain the same. And the first question is whether these systems were part of a commissioning scope that ended successfully. And when the building was a new design, whether it was certified or not, it went through commissioning. So the initial commissioning is there. If this is satisfied, then we will not ask for retro-commissioning. Retro-commissioning is required for the systems that were never commissioned at startup. So they have to be commissioned now for existing buildings. However, systems that have been designed, that have been commissioned at design and construction, or systems that have been retro-commissioned, if major repair or equipment replacement were incurred on the system, chiller replacement, they have to answer yes or no, and these major repairs would require recommissioning of the system. So for existing buildings, the system was commissioned initially, did not go major repairs, and we will have some descriptive outline in the guide now of what is a major repair. Then it is given the score. Design was not commissioned, it has to be recommissioned. It was commissioned or retro-commissioned, but major repairs occurred, then we have to recommission the system.
للنيو بيلدينجز بالديزاين
New build
في شيء بيمنع يكون الكونتراكتور هو ذاته الكوميشننج ايجنسي ولا لا جابرين ثيرد بارتي؟
Third party, the site, we have to have a third party commissioning authority. Obligatory. Obligatory.
بس هون في نقطة فيها إذا في أوقات بيكون commissioning agent hired by the contractor. Is this mentioned? يعني ضروري يكون from the owner.
So this is internal commissioning, it's not account.
In my opinion, he ceases to be a third party. Third party is a party that is not the engineering firm and not the owner. Third party.
عملية جابرين
تاب ايجنسي يعني.
بس في أوقات بيكون الكونتراكتور هو
ما بيأثر بس هي ثيرد بارتي.
هلا كمان will not we may differentiate between the tab company, testing, adjusting and balancing company, and the commissioning authority. So tab could be under the contractor, supervised by a commissioning authority. That's fine.
تاب فيها تكون الكوميشنينج كمان.
tab فيها تكون commissioning والتاب فيها تكون contractor. بس الكوميشننج بده يضل third party. يعني الاثوريتي اللي عم بتقول اوكي.
It should be the third party. مش part of the sale.
Sorry, and when we are saying by third party, it has been to be paid by the client, not by the contractor.
Yes. In my
بس
opinion.
تجاوب
Yes.
على سؤالك رامي.
Yes.
This is it. Yes.
Yes. So this is all for management and operations.
هاي
Excellent.
Easy.